Hello. Hello, everyone. This is Trish Igel Roberts. I'm an author, coach, and speaker. And I remembered to hit the record button tonight, so I'm excited. My mission is to help you slay self-doubt and limiting beliefs so you can juice up your journey and find mind-blowing happiness. And my guest tonight is Malini Sarma. Malini is the creator of the, what am I going to say right? Wait a minute, the Brown Woman Collective. And she is the host of the Gladiatrix podcast. And she was kind enough to have me on her podcast, I think, what was it, like a month ago? Probably about a month ago, Malini?
Yep.
And do you want to talk a little bit more about those things?
Thank you. Thank you, Trish. Thank you for having me on your show. I'm really excited. It's my first Facebook Live. Well, thank you. So like Trish mentioned, I am the host of the Gladiatrix podcast, where I talk to women from around the world about all the badass things they're doing. And right now I have covered almost 19 countries. I'm on a mission to talk to at least one woman from every country in the world. And there are 193 countries, so I have a little bit more work to do. So if you know, or if you are somebody who would love to be on my show, reach out. I'd happy to talk to you. I'm also the creator of the Brown Woman Collective, which is a safe, non-judgmental space for women of color, of South Asian descent and their supporters, to talk about anything and everything that we women who are immigrants go through. So if you're interested, hit me up and I will let you know all the details. I'm also, and just like Trish, we're like life coaches. So we're on this journey together and I'm so happy to be here.
Yes. So I met Malini in a coaching cohort that I've been participating in. And as soon as we met, we were like, oh my God, she's like my sister from another mother. So we talk all the time and it's been amazing getting to know you. So I do want to share my kind of big wow thing, which is that I am committed to teaching the 12 steps to mind-blowing happiness to 12 million people over the course of the next 12 years. And I'm going to start counting the week of my birthday, because that's when I'm launching the new second edition of 12 Steps to Mind-Blowing Happiness, which you can see right next to me. And one of the things that I've noticed since I kind of coined the term mind-blowing happiness, and I'm going to read the definition to you guys real quick. So it is a state of deep joy and fulfillment characterized by a juicy life journey steeped in passion, purpose, and the realization of your potential. But when I talk to people about it, I think sometimes people feel like it's unattainable or that they don't deserve it. So I am here and I will be here every Wednesday at 8:30 to remind you that it is attainable and that you do deserve it. And I'll be here with tips and topics to help you along your journey. And today's topic is the energy of money. And kind of a little subtopic is, does integrity matter anymore? Because I think it's really interesting, the connection between money and integrity. And I think that sometimes people are scared to really pursue wealth or their fullest potential because there's this fear that you might lose yourself in the process. So I wanted to ask you, I guess, well, you know what? We're going to start having fun first, because, I like to have fun. And I have a little game tonight that has to do with the energy of money. And we're going to relate it to the energy of either animals or insects. We'll figure it out. We'll see where this thing goes.
Well, I have to start thinking about insects now. I think I only know about 3.
You said that. You're lucky if you only know 3 insects, because that means apparently they have not been terrorizing you. So that's a good thing. I feel like I probably have 3 like looking at me somewhere right now. Although I will tell you one thing, because when I do get them in the house, I try to take them outside,
and I just let them go. Right.
I felt really successful the other day because I got a fly to go out. Actually, I got 2 flies to go out. It's like, go outside.
Shoo.
Yeah, shoo, right? So a little bit about like my relationship with money. Well, I've worked as a financial advisor for about 13 years, but prior to that, I've been a business owner, I've been a landlord, of course, a mom, a dog mom, he's sleeping. Um, but, have had, I guess, a relationship with taking out loans and making good salary and then not having such good salary and having a bigger bank account and having a smaller bank account. So kind of, I think I've always kind of seen money as kind of this flow of energy. Um, so what did you learn about money growing up? Like, did you have anything that stuck out for you?
You know, it's very interesting, and I think that's very common probably among a lot of us immigrants. Growing up, is like we never talked about money. It was something that you got on birthdays and special occasions, and then you saved it. You were like, oh, you don't want to save it, and you don't want to spend it. You want to save it. And so for me, I can tell you about my experiences. Like, I never understood or the value of it, or because I never handled it, or it was always about, if you need something, let us know and you will get it. Don't ask anything more. Like, don't ask the price, don't ask where'd you get it from or anything. If you want something, just say you want it, and we'll figure out a way to get it for you. So I never really knew like the situation, like at home, or if there was money or there wasn't money. So they were like, oh, cool, I guess. you
Did
know
they did they ever tell you that money doesn't grow on
oh
trees?
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah,
Like
that was
everybody
like,
heard that.
yeah, it's like, really, what are you talking? It's like, especially when you want something because somebody else has it, and you're like,
Right.
really? Yeah, what, do you think money grows on trees? So it was like, so I never really thought too much about it. It's only much later, when I had to handle it myself, did I, it was like, there was a fear of it, because it's like, oh my God, I got to make sure that I have enough, or oh, they're so lucky because they have so much of it, not realizing that money and happiness don't go together. And just because
That is very true.
you have a lot of money doesn't mean you're a nice person either. you know
That's
so
true
it's
too.
like, sometimes it's like, oh, they have a lot of money so they can get away with a lot of stuff. So it's always associated, in my viewpoint, it was always, money was associated to power, because you could do so much with it. That's how it was.
Well, and the thing I find interesting is that, because I had to work on this in my own head, is many times I associated power with something negative, when power is fabulous if you use it for something great,
Right.
Like, I would love to have more impact, more of a platform, more power, because I know where my heart is and I know what I would use those things for.
Mhm.
Um, but unfortunately, I guess we have a lot of examples of people using power for terrible things, to harm people or to oppress people, right? So
Yeah, have you heard the phrase, power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely?
I
Have you
have
heard of
not
that?
heard that one.
No? So that's
No.
why I associate power to be negative, because it's like, oh, if you have power, you're going to be corrupted. And,
Yeah,
especially in the political arena, it's like, if you have absolute power and you can do everything, then you're going to, then you can do whatever you want and nobody can do anything, right?
I guess that's why you don't have any like great dictatorships, right? Because that would be absolute power,
Power, right.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There was one, I think I might have mentioned this to you before, where it was like, money doesn't change you. Money just, I'm gonna mess this up
Reveals.
completely.
No, yeah,
Yeah,
it said
reveals
it
you.
doesn't
Yeah.
change you, but it probably
It
reveals more
reveals
about
you.
you,
Yes, yes,
right?
yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
And I had never heard that before. And I was like, wow, when you think about it, how people change when they have a lot of money, it's like, it's almost like a personality change.
But the thing too, because I'm obsessed with personal development and potential. The thing is, if you don't know who you are,
Mm-hmm.
then it's kind of like, is it really changing you or is it just exposing you? You know what I mean? Or
That's a good, yeah, I didn't think about it
or
like
do, or do you
that.
even just get more lost in it because you
Mm-hmm.
don't have the grounding and the foundation?
Mm-hmm.
So let me see. I'm looking at my little notes here. So money is a contract, which is interesting because when we think of cash, it has no value except for the promise that is
Mm-hmm.
behind it, whether from the federal government or you and
That's
the
right.
person that you're exchanging it with. So the energy really comes from our intention. you know, and I like to, like, when I think of tipping, that's a nice place to think of intention, you know, you're kind of giving somebody a little love or a little show of appreciation. So there's definitely an energy there. And I had a conversation recently that I was thinking of with a friend of mine who is a yoga teacher. And we have a mutual friend who was asking her to teach yoga. And she didn't want to accept payment from them because she's, you know, like, it's my friend, I don't want to accept payment. But at the same time, when you do that, you're kind of blocking the flow of energy. You know, somebody
Exactly.
wants to give you something and you're kind of, you know, shutting that down. So I thought that was interesting. And one more thing I was going to say before we get to our game stuff is that, you know, growing up in Brooklyn, we had this expression where, you know, you would say, bless me or bless someone. And blessing was, you know, it was an exchange of money. So I thought, oh, that's interesting, you know,
Really?
that
I thought you
yeah,
say bless you when you have to like sneeze. I didn't
that's a
realize.
different bless you.
No, but when you were talking about you know, your yoga, your friend who was doing yoga. So in the Indian, especially in the Indian
Oh, you were telling me,
community,
yeah.
it's like um, you know, whenever you say that, oh, can you teach it to me for free? You know, that's what they say. You have to give your teacher what they call a dakshina, or like an offering, right? Because whenever you want to learn something from somebody, you always have to give, because that's the exchange of energy. And
Right.
if you don't do that, whatever knowledge that you received, you will never be able to use it. That is why they say you always have to give your teacher something.
That's so interesting. And
Isn't it?
it's almost like when uh well, I guess I have my Buddha behind me. You know, he always has a little offering in front of him. So he has a little
Mm-hmm.
crystal in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
And last night I did a mantra ceremony where I set up like a little altar, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but it's kind of the same thing, like
Mm-hmm.
offering to your guru or to your
Right.
teacher that
Yep.
you're getting this, you know, this wisdom or this
Mm-hmm.
energy and you want to show up with something. You
Right.
don't want to just
You never go
kind of,
empty-handed. You're always
yeah,
offering, yeah,
but it's
moving
a,
and
it's,
offering.
I think it's a good way to go through life, right?
Oh yeah.
Because nobody
So you
likes
know,
a gimme or a user, you know?
right. So they say when you go to see God, you go to see children, and you go to see and you go to someone's house for the first time. You never go empty-handed,
Mm-hmm.
because children are like, you know, they say children, especially
You're
younger
close to
children,
God.
they're like they're like God, because they have no negativity, they have no ulterior motive. They're so pure and so innocent, right? So
Mm-hmm.
whenever you go
And
to
they
a
just
place,
came through the portal, right? They just came from the other side.
right, exactly. So you never go empty-handed. You always go with something.
Mm-hmm. That's a good piece of advice there. So children,
You go to the
teachers,
house of God,
what were the
house of
three?
children,
Uh-huh.
and then to anybody's house for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
you're entering a new space, right? So you always go with good intention.
Mm-hmm. I
Yeah.
like that. I like it. So our money indicates our intention and our attention. And so our intention shows up really by how we get our money, you know, so how
Hmm.
we earn it, the way we spend it, the way we invest it. And then our attention shows up in the way we budget and we track it.
Hmm.
So what do you think you're better at, the intention or the attention?
Oh, definitely intention. Definitely. And I think it's because I don't know if it's women, or maybe just women of color, or I don't know I mean, I don't know what it is, but it's the, you know, you spend so much of time to make sure that you're getting it, right? Because and you're like, you have this reverence for it, because you're like, oh my God, but at the same time you have to be careful. If you don't control the money is going to control you. So it's like
But you
you
know, your intention is in your spending too, because you can really find out what's important to someone by
oh yeah.
seeing how they spend their money.
Oh yeah. So in my case, it's more about, you know, I like to spend on the things that I really like. Not,
Mhm.
it's not about the big whatever like a lot of other people do, but it's like the couple of things, you know, if it's like travel, or, you know,
Yeah.
or plants. Yeah, I might kill them, but that's okay. I just get another one. But yeah, but it is about what gives you
Like
joy.
the optimism there.
Girl, I'm working my way up, okay? But no, but it is what gives you joy. So it is more for me. It is more about, I get a lot of pleasure in figuring out ways of getting. That's why I'm a big proponent of multiple streams of income. And I keep telling my
Mhm.
children that too, because growing up it was like you grow up, you get
You
a
get it.
job, you get married, have kids, and then you save up
Mhm.
all your money, and then you go into retirement. It's like as if retirement is like another job, but that's not how it works.
Right.
There
Well,
used to
things
be a time when
change.
you could work in the same company for 30 years and you get
Mhm.
a pension. Who does
Right.
that anymore, right?
They're
So
gone,
now,
really.
yeah, yeah. So now I'm like multiple streams of income, multiple
Mhm.
streams of income. So yes. What about you?
Well, for me, definitely intention. And I like to spend my money on experiences
Hmm,
more than stuff. Like I've
right.
never really been into stuff. Um, and um, and I think like my health, so like I'll spend like a lot of money on yoga and stuff like
Hmm.
that. But I
Massage.
drive a very simple car. Well, I love my car, but
Right,
I
right.
don't spend a lot of money on like designer stuff or stuff like
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and I really like experiences because to me you keep them in your heart forever. You always remember
Right,
them.
right.
Yeah. Like I don't know if I told you I went ziplining in Costa Rica at the beginning of 2020 before everything got shut down. And that was like on my list, my bucket list or my
Uh-huh.
list of life experiences I wanted to have.
That's
Yeah, and I'll
awesome.
never forget.
That's pretty cool.
Um, so let's see, we talked about growing up with money. All right, so let's get into the quotes. And we're gonna get into these insects.
Okay. The insects.
So I have 5 quotes and lessons about money.
Okay.
And then we're gonna go into like what insect
Hmm.
has that kind of energy.
Okay.
Okay, so the first one, and this is actually, I'm cheating a little bit because I have 2 quotes here. So the first 2 quotes is you can have everything you want if you will just help other people get what they want.
Hmm.
And that is from Zig Ziglar.
Okay.
You can have everything you want if you will just help other people get what they want. And then there's this, this other guy, I'm probably ruining his name. Idawu Koyenikan also has a similar kind of theme with his, which I really like this one. The money you make is a symbol of the value you create.
Okay.
Money you make is a symbol of the value you create. Do you have an insect?
Hmm.
You do?
And earthworm.
Ah, okay. Why earthworm?
Because you know how when you have all the soil, you need to get an earthworm to make it rich, and
Mm,
then it's giving its value. You're putting it in the soil, and then you
that's
get all this
good.
abundance.
Yes, that's good.
See, my plant thing is coming in handy.
Wow. And this is one of those moments when you realize that I don't prepare this part at all because I have no idea what my insect is. But yes, I think it's definitely a quote about abundance,
Hmm.
because it's really talking about getting all, everything you want. And everything, for most of us is,
Right.
being comfortable with our financial situation, having
Hmm.
comfort, or maybe having extra things that we want, like more trips to Costa Rica or whatever it is that
Yep.
we're into.
More travel. After this pandemic, we're like ready
I
anywhere, anywhere,
know, I
anywhere.
know, everybody's ready. So it talks about creating value. And one thing I do want to share here, because whether it is like you having your own business and creating value that way, or if it is creating value in your regular 9 to 5 job, it's kind of the same thing.
Hmm.
And I love these examples of tech brands. They're so big now, everybody slightly hates them just a little bit. But but like Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Google, Facebook, all these companies that have now become like these huge behemoth.
Conglomerates, I know. They own the
Yeah,
world.
but they started off with like these little ideas
Hmm.
that sometimes we didn't even know we needed them. And
Exactly.
then just, really
They're marketing
did a good
geniuses
job
when they
satisfying it.
when they make you think, when if they have convinced you that you need something that you didn't even know you needed. That's just brilliant.
Well, that's true, but the thing is technology was changing. So like we
Right?
didn't know
Look
we
at the
needed an
iPhone.
iPhone. Hello. I
Hmm.
can't even go to the bathroom without mine now because I need to
Well, except
I need
I
to
don't.
read.
Except I'm not on the iPhone. So
Oh, you don't use, oh yeah, you use something else. But it's the same thing, it's still a smartphone.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me think. My insect of abundance, I'm just gonna start with, I'm obsessed with butterflies, so I just feel like starting with a butterfly for no reason. But you
Okay.
had a really good reason about that earthworm. But I'm not a gardener. I'm just gonna stick with my butterfly and then we'll see what
Yeah,
happens
that's
later.
good. That's good.
Seems abundant to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, one interesting thing, in case you need a random butterfly fact, is that they don't actually flap their wings,
They don't?
They move their bodies and the wings just isn't that great?
Oh, that is awesome. I did not know that. I have to observe a butterfly the next time I see it. Really? So are you saying
Nobody
that they
knows that.
don't
I
they don't
found
flap
that
their
out
wings?
researching for my book.
Oh, okay.
No.
That's good to know.
And I guess that's part of what makes them do that pattern.
Oh, okay. Okay. Good to
Hmm.
know. Good to know.
There you have it. Okay, so the second quote and lesson is from Warren Buffett, and I read a lot of him when I started working in finance.
Hmm.
And I love this one. If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die.
I've heard that
And
before.
I know, like, yeah, I know that when my dad was sick, I was I was like, wow, he's here sick in bed, but his business was still running and he still had income. So that was good.
Hmm.
Uh, and and then I know as I've been working with some consultants, over the past year, I've heard it more than once where they say stop trading hours for
True.
dollars.
Yes.
And we've seen some of that, with a lot of people who are doing online courses
Hmm.
or, having businesses that other people can operate, whether they're there or not. Um, but I love that advice.
Yes.
If you
Because you
don't
put
find
the
a way to
value
make
for the
money
dollar,
while you sleep,
you'll be working like you'll never make the kind of money that you want to make because there's not enough time in the day.
right? Because you only have so many hours in a day.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Exactly.
Um, so I'll talk a little bit about investing here. Um, because for most of us who maybe don't have businesses and that kind of thing, you can make passive income. And the most common ways to do that are either rental income or, your stock portfolio. And usually income portfolios are going to be built on stocks that pay dividends. So they're typically not going to be sexy stocks. They're going to be like
Hmm.
your phone companies, your utilities, older companies that have been around for a while, so they're not really growing a lot anymore. So they kind of have to pay a dividend to get
Right.
investors interested.
Hmm.
So like those dividend paying stocks, and then bonds, because bonds are just loans, so they always pay out interest. So you can get your little passive income without
So
having to have
are you
a
saying that I can
course.
get are you saying that I can get bonds and just and keep them for so many years and then it'll pay out dividend after so many years?
Well, no, dividends come from stocks.
Okay.
Bonds pay interest.
Pay interest.
Yes,
Okay.
but yeah, yeah. And so it's like, look, we're going to get into a whole financial
I
conversation,
know,
but it's
right?
like they maintain their value. So like if you have a bond, say the value is $100, it's always going to be $100. It's not going to grow, but it'll
Okay.
pay you interest either once a month or once a quarter.
Oh, okay. So that's a
Yeah.
good thing to
Let's see,
give as a gift.
that's a whole nother workshop. Trisha's
Yes, that's
financial,
another whole other
financial
conversation.
workshop.
Yes. Good gift. Good gift.
Yes. And like, how you see these big charities where they have endowments, because the endowments are set up where you never touch the principal, but they
Right.
generate this income. And
Right.
that's why, rich
Right.
people don't have to work, right? The really
Ah,
wealthy people don't have to work because they
okay.
can live off
Off the
the
interest.
income that's produced by their investments. So,
Nice. Okay.
but they have other problems, Melanie, so don't
Yes.
worry. They're miserable, whatever, they have other issues. It's funny because at the
Energy of
end of the
money,
day,
energy of money.
yeah, and it's interesting because sometimes having that, well, you hear about trust fund kids, having that where it's not necessary for you to figure out your passion or your purpose or whatever, for some kids it's rough because
It
they
is.
they get lost.
Right. They have
Yeah.
no idea. They don't know what it is like. Yeah. I know. I remember my kids telling me, I wish we were trust fund babies. I'm like, oh no, 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 no. You don't want to be a trust fund baby because then you guys will be spoiled brats, at least in my mind. I'm like, you better
Well,
learn
there's
how to do your laundry and cook and clean because don't expect other people to do it for you. Well, it's okay if you can afford to get somebody, but you should still know how to do everything on your own.
yeah, and there is a whole conversation around that, teaching the wealthy people how to motivate and kind of raise their children when they're children with
Trust fund
a
babies.
lot of privilege. Yeah,
Wow. I
yeah.
didn't realize that was a problem.
No, it is a problem. It is. Yeah.
No kidding.
No, it's a problem.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Which goes back to the whole money doesn't make you happy thing. Yeah.
That's right.
It actually creates
Absolutely.
a whole nother problem. Okay, so do you have an insect? I mean, I kind of categorize this as rest, right? Because you shouldn't only be making money constantly from working,
Hmm.
it would be ideal if you had some passive income as well. So what insect feels passive for you?
You know what? The only thing that I can think of is a moth because
Moth is a good one.
I've
Yeah.
only seen them at night.
And
I haven't,
they're never doing much.
yeah, or maybe cicadas.
They
Ah,
stay busy though. They make a lot of noise, cicadas.
but they don't do anything for 17 years.
But they don't do anything for 17 years. Oh, I didn't
That's
know that.
that's how long it takes for the next cycle after this year will be in 17 years.
But what? But I hear them every summer. Like they're out.
But you know how they have this whole influx this time?
Yeah,
It's
that's what
like,
I hear.
yeah, yeah, cicada is mine. That's my
Cicada.
insect.
Well, then I'm stealing moth.
Okay, you can take it. Here you go.
Because I never seen a moth that was busy.
True. I only see them at night. It's like, oh, you decided to get up?
And they kind of fly slow, and I don't know what they're
Yeah.
doing exactly. So I'll go with that. Okay, so the next quote, which I love too. I think all these quotes are great. Of course, I wrote it, so that would be the case, right? But I'm still excited about it. So, and you know what? Honestly, I'm still learning, and I get
Hmm.
really excited about learning. So this one is everything you want in life is a relationship away. And this is also Idawu Koyenikin, which I'm just one day maybe I'll learn to say his name. I have to look him up.
Hopefully he's not listening. He's like, I need to tell that lady how to say my name.
Yeah, maybe he'll put a comment in my Facebook.
Maybe.
Gosh. So I think in our, the coaching cohort that we were in, we were having conversations about leveraging your personal network and
Hmm.
how a lot of times, we have friends, but maybe we don't stay connected or we don't
Right.
really try to help each other move
Hmm.
forward and how important that is. So this has been coming up lately. And then, remember the old saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
No. Hmm.
And I used to hate that saying because it seemed really like snotty, because it made it seem like, well, you don't know anyone, like if
Hmm.
we have an accent and we put our pinkies up. Um, but then the reality is we actually do know stuff, Malini.
Yes, we do. Of course. And we know people
We
too.
know
Thank you.
people.
Yeah.
So when you do like, they talk about 6 degrees of separation, which I always
Hmm.
thought was kind of a cool concept, then it really makes you feel more like, okay, I know people, like, I might
Yeah.
be 6 degrees away from them, but they're
Right.
not that
You want
out.
you want you want to hear something really funny? So like I learn and I teach dance, right?
Mhm.
So my teacher Siddhanti, we call her Siddhanti. She turns 81 this year. Okay, so she's been dancing for since she was 5 years old. So
Wow.
she has been teaching in this country in the U.S. for more than 50 years, and she has students all over the world. So we always say it's like 6 degrees of Siddhanti because any
Okay.
place you go, we have
I know her.
figured, we're like, okay, are you going to this place? Are there any dance students there? Do you know anybody there? And next thing you know, it's like, oh yeah, I taught her in this year. I'm like, oh my God, we were probably like kids or whatever. But the fact that we all learned under the same guru, it's like we're a network, right? So it's like I don't even have to know the person, but just to know that I'm like, by the way, I'm Siddhanti's student, like, oh my God, okay, doesn't matter. It's all okay. It's like all you're like you got the seal of approval, right? So it's
Yeah,
just like
that's
how you
pretty
said, six
cool.
degrees of separation is like that. So for us, it's like this dance school. It's so funny though. We're like, okay, so in fact, when you go on trips, it's like a bet. How how long before we find somebody
Who knows her?
who knows?
That's nice though. That must be wonderful for her.
Oh
Uh-oh,
yeah, I
somebody.
mean she's
Okay, I thought it might
amazing.
be waking
Yeah, she's really amazing, but it's really funny actually. It's a
up.
game.
Okay, so we're talking about relationships, right? And the 6 degrees of separation. Oh yeah. So I wanted to share like how much I kind of didn't like the idea of that, you
Hmm.
know. But I guess, well, I don't know. But I think of it when I think of like our political system, you got the Kennedys, the Bushes, one person gets in and then the other one has proximity to power. And it makes
Right.
it so much easier for the
Mhm.
second person to,
Right. Get in.
accomplish something because the first one kind of paved the path.
Right.
Um, so that was kind of cool. And I just want to share this because I like saying this word, and sometimes I just have words that I want to say.
What?
So, I used to always kind of hate the word networking because I felt like, I don't know, corporate jobs that I
Like
had
a
in the past,
job.
I
It's like a job.
was always going to like try to get something from someone,
Hmm.
like, oh, you got to go talk to that guy, or oh, you got to go meet this person. And then
Hmm.
here I go, oh, I got to meet them because I got to try to get something from them. So in my book, Thinking Outside the Chrysalis, I talk about pollinating. I use the butterfly a lot in that book. That's
Hmm.
where the chrysalis thing comes from. But I like the idea of pollinating because then it's like you're just like going and,
Hmm.
giving as
Right.
opposed to, or sharing as
Right.
opposed to thinking about it
What you're going to be
one
getting.
directional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And what else? Oh, we got to do our insects.
Yeah. So what insect do you have?
Oh, wait, I have another quote.
Oh, okay.
I use this one in my book too. It's an African proverb. If you want to go quickly, go alone. If you want to go far, go together,
Together. I've
which I
heard that.
like.
Hmm.
It's almost like the opposite of the crabs in a barrel,
Yes.
having
Yes.
people support
Hmm.
you and bring you along. Um, and I guess what I would ask viewers is, when you think about relationships, when's the last time you reached out? Because sometimes we have people and we just kind of let things go and,
Hmm.
you know, but just encouraging anyone watching to think about reaching out maybe to people that you don't reach out to all the time, or checking on someone who maybe you don't always check on.
Right. Especially
Um,
now, right? You don't know. A lot of people have gone through a lot of hard times with the COVID. Um, I know I've ended up reaching out to a lot of my college friends whom I've never been too busy with life to kind of go back but they've a lot of people have lost loved ones because of
mhm,
COVID. They're going through a rough time, and you don't know what people are going through or how they react because you don't know what their situation is,
mhm.
and how they're coping. And sometimes you don't even have to say anything, just knowing that you're there. And, like, hey, if you just want a shoulder to cry on or just to hear, if you want somebody to just listen, I think that sometimes that's all they need, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, you can't go wrong. It's great for
Mhm.
your karma, right? If
Yes,
you're concerned about, the energy that's kind of swirling around you.
right. Hmm.
Yeah, and hopefully it would make you feel good too. So
Yeah. Yeah.
think about. So, okay, so we need insects now for friendship.
Okay, you tell me, what do you have?
I know you're gonna make me go first.
Yeah, I'm gonna make you
No, you go
go
first.
first. You might steal mine like you did the
Friendship.
last one.
I think, well, wait a minute. Let me see. Oh, I think I know what I have for the next one. Friendship. I don't know. For some reason, I'm thinking about bees.
Oh,
They seem like they're like, I don't know. Usually, if I see any insects hanging out with each other, well, that might be more than friendship, actually.
well, yeah.
But I just imagine that bees like to hang out with other bees.
Okay, you know what I was thinking of? Crickets. You know why? Because I thought of Jiminy
I
Cricket.
knew you were going to say Jiminy Cricket.
Because Jiminy Cricket was Pinocchio's conscience, and I'm like, well, you know what? Well, yeah, I'm sticking to cricket. So,
Okay,
because
I'll go
it's
with
like
cricket.
about relationship and
But
making
I have,
sure that you're, telling the truth, and this is how you feel good, and that's what I.
well, they certainly make a lot of noise.
Oh yeah,
Have
they
you
do.
ever had a cricket in your house?
No, is that a saying or is that like a real thing?
It sounds like the start of a poem, right? But no, I remember as a kid, we actually had a cricket in the house, and they are so loud. It's unbelievable.
You know, um, when I went to, so, for my birthday, I was in Hawaii, right? And I was in Hilo, which is the rainforesty part of the Big Island.
Mhm.
Woman, you will not believe it. I swear it was louder than like traffic noise, okay? The
Mm,
insects are
I
so
could believe it.
loud. I'm like, I'm surprised people can sleep around here.
Yeah, a cricket in the house was like, I mean, I was young, but it is something I will never forget. Like it
Oh
was
my,
loud. Yeah.
okay.
Because normally
Yeah,
you
they
hear
are
them and
loud.
they're far away from you
Right.
and they're not indoors.
No, no.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So what was yours?
Jiminy Cricket.
Oh, duh. It must be past my bedtime.
Looks like it.
Okay. All right. Moving along. So, all right. So I have two more left. Quote number 4 is from Oprah, who's like my favorite.
Ooh.
Don't worry about being successful. Work toward being significant, and the success will naturally follow. And I love that one because I remember I remember when I was working in finance, especially like in the early days, it's for some reason I just remember I was running and singing along to Drake, I just want to be successful,
Mhm.
and I really wanted to, do well as an advisor and, learn the markets and all of these things, but I wasn't thinking about being significant, you know? And like now that's what I think about, like having a larger impact than just like kind of in my silo. So I
Hmm.
thought that that was an interesting one. Um,
Hmm.
so I guess that's something that we might think about as well. Like, how can we impact
Oh
people that
yeah.
we care about or, an audience that we care about?
Yeah, look at your book. Isn't that what you're going to be doing? Is impacting all these 12 million people, women across the world?
Oh, I know what I'm doing. I was
Well,
thinking
I
for
know
the
what I'm
audience
doing
to think
too.
about. No, I was thinking for
Yes.
the audience to think about.
No, that's
Um,
what I'm saying. It's like you know what? And you don't even have to do so many. If you make a difference to one person, just one person, it makes such a profound has such a profound effect. Because you know how they talk about the butterfly effect, where you make a
yeah.
small change somewhere and it becomes so much bigger in the greater scheme of things, right? So you
Hmm.
just make one change, make a difference to one person, and that will completely change so many things. Because we're
That's
all
true.
connected. Because we're all
Yeah, that's
connected.
true too. Yeah, that's true. Absolutely. And I'm thinking, sometimes it's not always a person because it could be like that. Well, not everybody's going to make the iPhone, but it could be also a curriculum or a thing or a letter or a poem or a piece of art. It could be anything that you're
Hmm.
kind of bringing to the table.
Hmm.
But I think
Or
it's,
a
it
dance.
feels, it feels different with that idea of being significant
Oh, yes.
instead of successful. And, I think Oprah's magic. She knows everything. So I'm just gonna
Mm.
her. I'm gonna just listen to what she says. um,
So is there an insect for that?
yeah, I was thinking this has to do with purpose. I know what my insect is for purpose, I think.
So okay.
Oh, you wanted to yours first?
No, go ahead. I'll tell you mine because I had two and I wasn't sure.
Okay, I'll tell you if you have one of mine.
Okay. What do you have?
Oh, you want me to go first? So
Yeah.
for purpose, I was thinking of ants. Because
Oh,
they are like busy. They're like building houses and tunnels. They got communities. When my daughter was little, and I feel bad about it later, but I didn't know any better at the time. They used to sell these ant, it was
farms.
like an ant farm. Yeah. And
And
it
the
was,
little thing with the sand, and they would go into the thing. Yeah.
well, this one, it was clear. It was like a clear container and it was like a blue gel. So when they made, when they burrowed, you could see the whole thing.
Mhm.
And it was pretty amazing. But then afterwards, they all died. And you end up with this thing with dead ants in it.
Oh no.
I know, yeah. But so,
Oh, I didn't even think about ants because I was thinking about bees because bees are like significant because now when the bee population is getting low,
yeah,
people are
that's
like
true
getting
too.
worried. They need to start getting more bees. But the other one, which is actually probably not significant for the to the insect, but is amazing for the humans, is the silkworm. So when that's how they found out about this. So the silkworm, the worm, eats the mulberry leaves, right? And in China, one time the worm fell into hot water, and that's when the one of the cocoons fell into the water, and that's when they saw the silk thread.
Mm,
And that's how silk was formed. So that's why there are communities in India that they don't wear silk because they say you killed the insect and then we had to wear it, so we will not wear silk.
yeah, I
But
don't wear silk.
oh, you don't. That's right. You don't. Oh, you don't wear silk. You don't use
Yeah,
leather either, do you?
no,
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh, Sorry. I love my silk saris.
I mean, silk is beautiful, but
Yeah.
it
So
wasn't
so
meant
that
to
so I
be.
feel that is very significant because at the cost of the life of that insect has created this huge industry, and it didn't happen today. It is like 5,000 years old.
Mm.
That's how ancient that is, right?
I'm
So
like, I'm like, run away, little silkworms. Like my little fly. I'm like, run, run. But okay, so for purpose, yeah, yeah, I'll go with the bee for the silkworm. And the last quote that we have, which I love because I love them all, that's why I picked them, is if you want to feel rich, just count the things you have that money cannot buy.
yes.
And it's not attributed to any person, it comes up as unknown. Um, some days it's harder to do this than other days,
I
right?
can imagine. Yeah.
But for me, usually what comes up on my list is a sense of humor because I'm like, I don't know how people get through this world without a sense of humor because life is crazy and you got
I
to be able to
agree.
laugh at
I agree.
yourself.
I agree. Hmm.
Definitely peace of mind, you know, um, and a healthy,
And health.
body. Yeah,
Yes.
love of my friends and family. That's all good stuff you can rattle off pretty quickly. And a good kind of gut check sometimes is if you're ever having one of these shady kind of so-so days or whatever. And then sometimes you hear, somebody passed away or somebody got sick or, and it really makes you kind of check yourself and appreciate the
Yeah.
things that
You're
are so
grateful for
easy for
what you
granted.
have, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So money is definitely necessary, but it's not the only thing, and it's not necessarily even the most important thing.
No, I agree with
Um,
that.
and I think that the theme that I think of in that one is a theme of love.
Mm-hmm.
So what would be your love bug?
A butterfly.
Okay.
I was like, that's the only thing, because I love butterflies. And when you think about how beautiful they are, and you just sometimes when you're like having a crappy day and you go outside and the sun is shining, you see the butterfly going on on the flowers, and the monarchs, the big ones with all the beautiful designs. I'm like, oh my God. Do you know that they fly all the way from Mexico?
I'm telling you, I was doing research when I was writing Thinking Outside the Chrysalis, and I learned so much stuff about butterflies, like they migrate 3,000 miles.
Miles. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. They fly
Isn't that
all the way
unbelievable?
from Mexico to Canada. I was like, oh my God. It's
Hmm.
like amazing. So yeah, definitely. They're so beautiful creatures.
Yeah, they
So
are.
beautiful.
It's one of the few bugs where, like, if they land on you, you're like, I can't move. Somebody
Yes.
take a picture, like you
Yes.
don't want to like run or swat it away. But for me, I'm going to do my love bug because, of course, I think of Herbie and the love bug. So I'm going to go with
Oh
the beetle.
yeah.
No, not with the beetle. No, not a beetle.
You
The
mean
ladybug. I take back the beetle.
ladybug?
Ladybug. And the
Yes.
thing is, what is really the difference anyway? They're basically the same.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Nobody loves beetles. They just love ladybugs, and I'm with that. They're supposed to be
Ladybugs
good
are, well,
luck.
they're pretty, but they're also very lucky. Do you know that?
I think they're light too.
If they land
I
on
feel
your
like they're
hand,
smaller and a little lighter.
it means that you're gonna make some money.
Oh, really? So I need to go outside and just kind of walk around. Like, how do you draw them to you? Do you wear a special color or something?
I don't know. I don't know. What do they like?
I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I've always heard that they're lucky.
Hmm.
Hmm. So we got our love bugs. Um, but I guess my last thing I wanted to talk about is, people think they want money, which of course, we all need money, but typically it's the emotion behind the money. It's what the
Hmm.
money represents, whether it's like security or freedom or maybe recognition or even the ability to be more generous.
Hmm.
So what do you think is most
For
important
me,
to you?
for
Yeah.
me, money represents freedom. Oh, definitely.
Mhm. Yeah, me too.
The ability. Oh, somebody woke up.
He's giving me the look like, isn't it time to get off the Zoom call? You know what I mean? Yeah, it's
No,
okay.
for me, it is definitely freedom. The ability for you to use it in whichever way that you feel is necessary, you know,
Hmm.
and you have the freedom to think about which way you want to do it too. So it's like you said, money doesn't buy happiness, but it sure can get you access to a lot of things
Right.
that is needed in order to get to wherever you need to go, whether it's health or um, education or whatever, making a
Yeah.
difference in somebody's life. Yeah.
There's a statistic around that where it's like there's not a lot of difference in happiness between people who make 7,000 a year. Well, no, there's a big difference in happiness between people who make 7,000 a year and 70,000 a year.
That's a big difference.
Yes, but there's not, yeah, I was messing it up in the beginning. I'm trying to clean up my act now. There's a big difference between 7 and 70, but there's not a big difference between those who make 70 and 700.
Really?
Yes.
That's
So
interesting.
that's assuming that the 70, you can live comfortably on it.
Right, right, right.
Yeah. So of course 7, you probably couldn't really live anywhere with 7, but yeah, so it's like once you're comfortable, then the
Hmm.
additional
Then
money
it's a
doesn't.
matter of what you prioritize.
I mean, the thing is, having a nicer car doesn't really make you happier. You might be
No.
excited for a little while, like, oh, I got a really nice car. And then after a while, you just get used to the car.
Hmm.
They have a word for that too. I can't think of the term for that. But yeah, yeah, I can't think of the term, but it's that adjustment that we make whenever we get something new. And it works both ways. So it works when something great happens, but it also works when something bad happens. Like even with, the loss of a job or something, you might initially feel like, oh my God, you're so devastated. But then
Then you get used to it.
then you get used to it and you do whatever else. And it's yeah. So yeah, so it doesn't create a big impact on happiness. Um, And I talked about, well, I didn't. So I guess for me, I feel like freedom is incredibly important to me. Like I've always been like a little obsessed with a lot of these songs that talk about freedom
Mm-hmm.
when I was a kid. And I think the other things are all pretty meaningful too, you know, having a sense of security and being able to donate to charities and take care of people that I want to take care of. So generosity. And I guess the other thing is money the only route to those things? Because that's kind of an interesting question. Like when you think of freedom, and this kind of came up when I was writing as well, because money definitely can give you freedom.
Oh, yes.
But one of the things that popped in my head was I know someone who is a bike messenger, and he would bike like the Appalachian and get his exercise. And he seemed to be having this freedom that I wasn't having doing a regular corporate job every
Mm-hmm.
day, you know? And I'm not saying, quit your job and become a bike messenger, but I was like, wait a minute, maybe I'm looking at things a little bit wrong. Or I have another friend who she got certified to teach English as a foreign language. And then she moved to, I think she's living in Seoul, Korea now. On a small income, whatever, but she's able to live and travel and live in a foreign country and have more
Different
of this.
experiences, yeah.
Yeah, so
I remember when I first came to this country, we were poor students, right? We barely made enough money. We had just enough money for rent and groceries, and our highlight was to rent a car was like such a big deal because like, oh my God, we could take this car and like go to another place. And we were like poor, okay? Church mice poor. But we were happy. I mean, because we didn't
right.
have to worry about anything. Now it's like all these things that you have to worry about, right?
And then you got to get rid of things too. Like you get all these things and then you got to get rid of things.
I
It's
know.
applicable
So
as
I think it's just the simplicity of life, and then I think it's just a state of mind as well, right? Is when you start you just prioritize on what you need to focus on, and you have to make that decision to say that, it's not about competition, I'm not competing with somebody else, that kind of thing. Then you just simplify your life. It just makes it a lot easier.
Mm-hmm. And when I think about security too, that's another one. Like I've been, I don't know, toying with this thought about the Golden Girls, remember the
Hmm.
Golden Girls when they were
Hmm.
on TV? And
Yes.
they were these women who were friends who lived together when they got older. Um, so just the idea about security, like so many times we think if we have a lot of money that we're going to have the security, but sometimes it goes back to those relationships.
Hmm.
If you were kind to people who will remember you, who may want to, I don't know, live with you or care for you or whatever, but having solid relationships is a different kind of security.
I
You
think that is much more valuable because, in your old age, if you don't have friends, that is, people die of loneliness more than they die of disease.
That's a
So,
good one right there.
mhm.
You're dropping some knowledge there, Malini.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, I'm getting inspired by all your quotes.
Yeah, right.
But no, that's
Yeah,
true. People die of loneliness more than they die of disease but they don't know how to get past it. And sometimes there's a difference between being alone and being lonely. You know what I'm
hmm.
saying?
Oh yeah,
People and they need to just and it's like if they didn't spend the time to build the relationships and do that, you're not going to have that. You cannot expect, oh, I'm going to turn 75 and now I just want everybody to come spend time with me. It doesn't work that way.
right.
You
Hmm.
have to
It's like a
work at
different kind
it.
of investment, because we're talking about some financial investing stuff. It's a different kind of investment. It's
Oh
investing
yes. And
in
you got to
people.
start, you got to make that investment when you don't need it, right? So that when you
Hmm.
do need it, they come in handy. There's no
Hmm.
point in like you can't go tomorrow and say, "Okay, can you be my friend?" All right, now come come take a look after me or something. Like go pay somebody.
Right, right, right. And it has to also be, I think, genuine, because I don't think it's,
Yes.
if you don't want to like strategize, like I'm going to be this person's fake friend for
Right.
30 years.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't work that way. Even if you
Right.
do try, it won't work because,
Right.
there's no foundation. There's no
Right. And
honesty in there.
people sense shady energy,
Oh,
like
yes.
for the most part,
Oh, yeah.
especially friends. I think sometimes in romantic relationships, you can get caught up in the sexual energy and miss, if
Miss
they're a
all the
user or whatever
signs.
the
Yeah.
shadiness is. Yeah. Because
hmm
you get kind of the endorphins going. But with
Right.
regular friendships, you don't have that. So yeah, you got to come with the
That's why
good,
you have to surround
not
yourself
shady
with people,
energy.
right? You have to surround yourself with people who make you feel good, And if they don't, you got to just cut it off. There's no point in hanging out or whatever. It's like, no.
Oh, wait, I got one more quote.
You have one more quote?
It's not written down. I hope I don't mess it up.
Okay.
But you know, people. So I've been doing this Nipsey Hussle quote for a while because I just love it. But it's like if the people are like if your circle does not inspire you, it's not a circle, it's a cage.
Ooh, that's a good
So
one.
I keep using it.
Okay. Wait, say that again. Say that again. So if your circle doesn't inspire you, then it's not a circle, it's a cage. Oh, I thought you were going to say if the circle doesn't inspire you, find a new circle.
Well, yeah, get out the cage and go find a new circle. I mean, that's basically it. But I think it is really telling that it's a cage. It's a good one.
It is a good one.
All right, so I think that's it, Malini.
Okay, do we have any more insects?
Any more insights? I think we'll insight it out. So thank you so much for joining me tonight for my third Facebook Live. You were such a great guest, and I had so much fun talking to you. And I love your earrings and your nose ring. You look so cute.
Thank you. Yeah, this is in honor of my first Facebook Live. Thank you very much.
Oh, yay.
No, thank you for having me. I'm sorry?
Did you get them?
I'm pretty sure it was somewhere here because you do get these here.
Oh, you got them right here. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Well, they
next
are
time,
lovely.
yes, and I will make sure I pick up a pair for you so I can give it to you the next time.
I like my earrings. I got these.
You know what you do? You know what you in order for your book thing, along with that, you should probably get some butterfly earrings too.
Okay, that's something to think about.
Right.
But let me just close this out.
Okay.
Thank
you for having me.
Thank you. So we all want money, and money is absolutely about energy. I wish you all lots of positive energy and honest money, because when it comes from the wrong places, it is the wrong energy. And integrity absolutely matters. So I wish you passion, purpose, and the realization of your fullest potential. I hope you guys enjoyed today's live. You can sign the pledge for Juicier Life's Journey at TrishAjelRoberts.com. So good night, and may your journey be juicy. Bye-bye.